Hello. For 2019, I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. So for January, I'm going to be using two knives that are new to me, and it's also a new type of knife. I've never used these before. So this is called a friction folder. So it's a different kind of mechanism, and these are two different knives. The first one I'll show off is the Spyderco friction folder. So these knives are one hand open, and the way a friction folder works is almost like a straight blade or a barber's razor, except there's a stop pin. So a barber's razor doesn't have that. You can flip it all the way around and hold it in a lot of ways to get close cuts. This guy will have a stop pin that holds it in the open position. So if you're pushing down on the blade, there's no problem for over travel or that spinning around on you. And the way you would complete the lock is when you're gripping the knife, your hand will envelop that tang and complete it either on a hammer grip, saber grip, doesn't matter the grip. You're going to be completing that lock with your hand. So that's the basic premise of the friction folder, and the friction comes from the pivot. So if it's in any sort of way, it's not a gravity knife. You cannot flip this guy. It will not travel beyond the position because the pivots are tensions thusly. The other thing about this knife specifically is that it is a full G10. There's no steel liners on it, and then there's no standoffs. It's a G10 spacer. It's running on Teflon washers and VG10 cutlery steel. So typically when I use a knife for these reviews, I go in blind. I just pick it up, try it for a month, see what happens. Based on the Kershaw, I kind of wanted to give it a couple days first to see if I could actually survive that long. And this knife does very well. So I've used it for a couple days already, and because it's fairly inert materials, like there's no liners, there's nowhere for water to really creep in and sit. I've been using this guy for food prep. It cleans up very nicely in bubble bath. Dish soap, it cleans up very well. So I'm pleased with how that guy works so far. The other thing about the Spyderco, before I jump over to the other knife, is that there is no pocket clip. That gives you a very good grip on the knife, but how do you carry it? You either just throw it in your pocket completely, or they have an included holster for it. So the holster, or sheath, however you want to call it, goes like that, and then there's a pocket clip, so it either clips onto your belt or into your pocket. So we're going to see how that goes, which carry system I like best for this knife, and I'll let you know. That part's going to be subjective, but you do have the option with this knife. And the other nice feature for this knife for the Europeans is that it is under the magic mark. So this guy is 72 mil, and if we flip it over, it is under 3 inches. So the blade length is perfectly fine. The only problem I can see for some people is that the overall length. So again, the handle itself is 3 3/4 or 9.5 centimeter, but the overall length, including the tab, is going to be significantly longer. So we're going to see how that affects over the month of use. And the other concern is that if this is just loose in the pocket, there's nothing locking the knife. So when you're moving, will this open up and send me to the emergency room? We'll find out. So that's the first knife. The second knife, this is a custom knife from Wandering Ronin Knifeworks in the States. It's a one-man shop, and he does good work. So this is G10 with stabilized hardwood, and then there's going to be a copper inlay. He's using 1095 steel on this one, and it also has the same stop pin like friction folders would have, and then it has steel standoffs, steel liners, and it's rocking Spyderco MXG gear deep carry short clip. So this guy would work on any Spyderco knife really. So this guy is also one hand opening. Same deal with when I press down, the pin is going to stop over travel, and this is going to be a significantly more robust knife. The blade stock is quite a bit thicker than the Spyderco, so this is going to be my out of the house kind of daily carry, cutting down boxes, things like that. So I'm going to be using this one, and this month is going to be an experiment for a new family of knives, not just a single knife, but a new family of knives. So I think that friction folders are also a bit more, they're old school, they're unknown. Let me know in the comments with questions, comments, concerns, and I'll try and run any experiments you have for me. So if you want to know, well, how would this do in a certain task or scenario, let me know and I'll run that for you. This guy, the blade length doesn't really matter because it's a custom. He'll make it whatever size you want. So going from there, it's over the 3-inch magic mark for you folks in the UK. So it is 3 1/4. But again, you can get him to make it slightly thinner if you want it thinner, a little shorter. It's a custom, so it's whatever you want. That's what he's going to make for you. And again, so this is the Wandering Ronin Knifeworks Marauder. And I'll put links to his, he's mostly on Etsy, Instagram, Facebook, so I'll put links to his shop in the comments as well. The only other difference between these two knives, other than there's the pocket clip and the size, is the size. This guy is very comfortable for one-hand manipulation. Locking, unlocking, or not locking, but opening, closing. This guy is very easy for opening one hand, but in my hands I find it's just that flipper tab has that little bit extra that it makes it, for me at the moment, not very safe to close one-handed, so I just find that I use two hands to close it. So these are the two knives, and just going to give you a bit of a shot on this guy. There we go, focused. And opened up. And for the Spyderco, same deal. So the Spyderco has a very nicely 3D contoured handle. Ergonomics on it are great, but we'll just see. If this was a liner lock or something, I think this knife would be a home run. But it has the new mechanism that's new to me, so we'll just see how that gets along. So, I appreciate your questions, comments, concerns. Let me know what you want me to do for testing, and I'll get on with it. Have a good day.